One of the world's more value-focused citizenship programs is becoming 60% more expensive. I'm going to share with you the details. Turkey is increasing the price of its real estate option for its citizenship by investment program. We originally scooped this as a rumor on our social media. That rumor quickly became confirmed, and right now the government is in the process of stamping and sealing and putting everything in writing and rolling out this new increase, which is going to be a 60% price increase over the previous real estate investment that was required. Now, if it's your first time here, my name is Andrew Henderson. I'm the founder of Nomad Capitalist. We're a boutique consulting firm that helps 7- and 8-figure entrepreneurs and investors legally get dual citizenship, reduce your taxes, and protect your assets overseas. We also host the biggest and best offshore conference called Nomad Capitalist Live. And Turkey's Citizenship by Investment program started a number of years ago with $1 million real estate investment requirement. Not a lot of folks took them up on that. Then a while back, they reduced that to $250,000. And what was unique about Turkey's citizenship program is that you didn't have to buy what's called approved real estate, which is what their competitors in the 5 Caribbean citizenship programs do. In both cases, you can get your passport in hand in a matter of 6-7 months, something like that. Caribbean, you would generally follow the donation routes. If you wanted to buy real estate in the Caribbean, you're not going to buy something that you can generally live in, except for in some kind of extreme, much more expensive than necessary circumstances. And so I've always said, if you're going to get citizenship in the Caribbean in a matter of months, make the donation, wash your hands of it, be done, move on. What Turkey offered was the opportunity on the same timeline to have somewhat lower due diligence costs, lower kind of just general costs of getting approved, and you could invest $250,000, subject to a few caveats you had to work out, and you could sell that property in 3 years on the open market, except to another citizenship investor. But you could buy pretty much any kind of property that you want. Most people bought overpriced property from developers that come with 10 and 20 and 25% commissions, which we advise our clients against. But we've helped people buy properties that are resales, which are increasingly difficult to find, but where I think that you could potentially hold a decent amount of your value, even as the lira continues to slide. That's just my personal opinion. And so right now what's happening is Turkey is going to be increasing that real estate option from $250,000 to $400,000, bringing the real estate option closer to options like their bank account option, which has been $500,000, and which we recently told you now has to be deposited in lira. Now, the interesting thing is that if you have immigration status in Turkey, you can put money in a Turkish bank in lira, earn whatever the crazy high interest rate it is. It's in the teens. And if you still lose money, even after that high interest rate's applied versus the dollar, the government will basically pay you back the difference. And so if you're looking at a $400,000 real estate option versus a $500,000 bank deposit option, where potentially you've got some kind of insurance, as it were, on the value of those lira that you're required to put in, $500,000 converted to lira, that maybe become more competitive. Someone who doesn't want to manage a property might just say, I'm going to park money in the bank. And hey, if the lira stabilizes at some point, who knows, then I'll get that high interest rate, and I can, after 3 years, cash that back out into dollars, euros, whatever it is that I want. And so why is this happening, right? Basically, you have, for what we're doing, not a lot of great resale opportunities to buy resale properties. You've got tons of new development properties that are available everywhere. You can double them up, triple them up, stack them up, buy 1, 2, 3 properties that all total $250,000, now $400,000. You can get citizenship easily that way. But buying a property that I think has good intrinsic value in a good neighborhood in Istanbul, there aren't a lot of those properties left. And I think that part of the demand on the citizenship program in Turkey pushed them to raise the price. And so while Turkey has always been controversial among Westerners, I talked to a lot of folks who are like, I don't really know, doesn't really feel right. That's fine. If it doesn't feel right, don't do it. You can go to the Caribbean, get citizenship in 6 months. You can get a golden visa in Europe or towards citizenship in 5, 6, 7 years. You can get citizenship in other parts of the world. Montenegro's program is quite overpriced, but that's an option. There's lots of different options out there to get a passport, whether you want to wait 6 months, a year, 2 years, 5 years, whatever the case may be. But where I think people are kind of a little bit misguided is when we confirmed the rumor that we had posted about Turkey's citizenship going up, people in our mostly Western audience had the comment of, well, hey, the lira is in bad shape. Inflation in Turkey is high. Shouldn't the price be going down? Why aren't they making this more attractive? And here's the reality, I think, that the mostly Western audience fails to grasp. If you don't want to be a Turkish citizen, I get it. Now, you have things like military service, which isn't really an issue and can be properly handled for anyone who gets citizenship in this manner, including for people in your family. There's a way that you can handle that. If you're the main applicant, then you really don't have an issue. So there's things that people have misconceptions about Turkish citizenship. Others just have misgivings. Hey, I'm not so sure about that. Listen, there's definitely pros and cons. Turkey is obviously a bigger country. They can do more. They can be more flexible because they have some more heft in the world than a small Caribbean island or Vanuatu or even Montenegro. And so what that means is they've been really one of the only programs out there in the citizenship world that is continuing to allow Russian citizens to apply. None of the Caribbean countries are allowing them to come. And so go to Istanbul, go to Montenegro, go to Georgia, go to Armenia. Property prices there have been going up. Rental prices have been soaring because Russians are coming in and saying, hey, we don't want to stick around in our country with what's going on right now. We're going to get out. And they're saying, hey, where can we go and put our money? Turkey is still a place where they can move their money. And on top of the fact that it was hard to find good resales in Istanbul in the good neighborhoods before, now it's even more difficult. You're seeing some of these prices getting bid up by Russians bringing in their money. And so when I look at the perspective of, people saying, why is the price going up rather than down? Well, number one, if you follow my model, and again, this is not financial advice and it may not apply to every situation, but what I've seen at the deals that I've looked at is something that you bought when the lira was 10 to the dollar would have appraised at, let's say 3 million lira. When the lira was 13 to the dollar, it went up to 3.8, 4 million lira. Maybe it didn't track perfectly, but property prices in desirable international neighborhoods where people hold foreign currency, where people are international, generally more secular as well, have largely tracked. And so, if you can basically buy into a property denominated in lira, but that lira, value tracks the dollar, then you really haven't lost anything, or maybe not a lot in dollar terms. And so that's the first thing. These people say, well, the lira is going down. Why don't they make it easier to get in? Well, here's the other thing. You have so much demand from around the world. Turkey was, orders of magnitude more popular in the last couple of years than the Caribbean programs put together. Why? Because Turkish citizenship offers, for one thing, E2 visa access to the United States, and that may work better for some people than others. But if you have a business, you have some investments in the United States, Turkey is one of the countries that's part of E2. There's only one country in the Caribbean that has that, and it's Grenada. And so for some people who want that access to the U.S., Chinese, for example, they've been coming in because China is not an E2 country. So now they can come in, they can become Turkish, they can become, before that, they were becoming citizens of Grenada. And now they have that additional option to go and live in the U.S., at least part-time, since the EB-5 investor program in the U.S. was slower. And so you've got people who are saying, oh, okay, hey, I can buy a property. Maybe it holds its value relatively well. Again, if you're just buying condos that the guy at the airport's selling you, it's not going to hold its value relatively well. You're probably going to lose 30, 40, 50% just, when you sign the papers. So you don't want to do a stupid deal because there's all kinds of overpriced rubbish in Turkey. You have to find the right deal. But people are coming in saying, hey, why make a donation to a Caribbean country? I can just buy a property. Heck, there are people like myself, and I'm not saying that this is what I did, but I'm saying people like me who have homes around the world that are thinking to themselves, okay, Istanbul International Air Hub, I'll buy a property there. And you know what? If I get a free citizenship in the process, there's some legal fees, whatever, why not do that? So there's been tons of demand. You've seen well into the 5 figures of people getting Turkish passports since they reduced the minimum to $250,000. And now that number, I think, is going to go up because of increasing demand in these times of chaos. People are saying, where can I go and get a citizenship that gives me more options? And so certainly I think we have people who are pairing Turkey with a Caribbean citizenship. That's an interesting strategy. Or Turkey with something else, or Turkey with a citizenship by descent. So what I want to suggest is prices are going up because demand is going up. Tens of thousands of people who've gotten the citizenship already means it's a success. The fact that people in your country don't see that it's a success, or that they don't see the value in doing that. Listen, it wasn't until a couple of years ago that interest in citizenship by investment among Americans increased dramatically to where now Americans are the number one nationality applying for Portugal's Golden Visa program, for example. We've always had interest from folks who wanted to reduce their tax exposure looking at citizenship. But the interest in merely a backup passport has increased exponentially just among Americans and other Westerners in the last 2 years as they see just where their government's going on a broader scale, as more people see that. And so consider that everyone else in the world has been thinking that way for a long time. People are looking for places to park their money. A lot of people from the Muslim world have seen Turkey historically as somewhat of a safe place. And so if you can understand that your property may be keeping up with some of the financial changes, if you can get a citizenship that you can basically exit your investment in the future, people are looking at, and they're saying this is a plan B. Don't allow the Western perspective to cloud your judgment saying they should be giving it away for cheaper. You are not generally going to see prices of citizenship going down. You've seen a few hurricane discounts that lasted for a couple of years in the Caribbean. A number of those prices have now gone back up, such as St. Kitts and Nevis. I think there's just so much demand. And now you're starting to see some pressure, where I think that you're going to see these countries hold the line. Citizenship generally does not become cheaper. I do think it will become potentially more difficult in years to come. So if you want your backup passport, now is the time to do it. People that we're helping who have already gotten what's called a conformity certificate for property that they bought in Turkey are going to be in good shape going forward. But those who are just beginning their search, those who haven't gotten started yet, you're going to be buying $400,000 property. Now it makes for a more interesting argument comparing a donation approach to what they have in Turkey. What's the opportunity cost of investing a larger sum of money? It becomes a more difficult decision for some folks because you waited. As I always say, don't wait.